So the early part of the book, I mean, you're looking more at Martin Bashir and why he's done this and what he's done and how he got away with it. But he's sort of playing on. I mean, it's sort of interesting, isn't it? Because he is playing on the paranoia of Princess Diana. But part of Princess Diana's paranoia is that she's worried she's going to be killed in a car crash, and then she was killed in a car crash. So I don't, that coincidence, or maybe not, is interesting in itself. But she did have feelings that the royal family might be pitted against her. She'd had a close relationship, I should say, with one of her bodyguards who had then died in a motorbike accident, right? So that was one of the things that made her think there was.
That's right. I mean, there's a whole series of things, and people often use this word, like paranoia, and I always say to myself that sounds uncomfortably close to a kind of psychiatric diagnosis that I'm not sure we're qualified to make, because if you or I were in her situation, as you say, that this person she'd had a bit of a relationship with, he mysteriously dies in a motorbike smash about 4 or 5 months later. And that accident itself, even though it's been entirely kind of cleared up at inquests and so on and so forth, people close to that, including the then very young woman who was the driver of the car, has subsequently expressed doubt. Can we be entirely sure that it was So Princess Diana's got that to think about. She knows beyond any doubt whatsoever that a very, very private and personal phone call of hers, this thing that was involved in what's always called Squidgy Gate, where this really personal private phone call was bugged and then rebroadcast, it seems, and picked up and put in the Sun newspaper, etc., etc. She knows all that. She knows that photographers are waiting whenever she leaves, and they're waiting whenever she arrives. And so somehow somebody is tipping them off. Now, in those circumstances, if the BBC, in the guise of this reporter with his Marks and Spencer suit and his wire-rimmed glasses, and very importantly, his documents that he says he's got documents that have been, provided to him by MI5. So the BBC has come to you and said, look, bad news. I've got stuff here from MI5. It proves that your husband wants to have you taken out. And indeed, he wants to have Camilla taken out and all sorts of other things. So do you have to be paranoid to take that seriously? I'm not sure that you do. And Princess Diana did take that seriously and did something which, again, made enormous sense, because the sort of the way out of this, suggested to her by Martin Bashir, was that you're going to go on Panorama, and what you're not going to do is reveal all these things that I've shared with you about the death plots and all this. You're not going to do that. You're going to go on Panorama, and you're going to do two things. You're going to make it clear to Buckingham Palace that you're not going anywhere, that you're tough and you're going to stand and fight. Number two, you're going to put a huge question mark over the suitability of then Prince Charles to become king. Because remember, Martin Bashir had managed to convince Diana that the Queen was going to abdicate in 6 months' time. So the scenario that had been laid out for Diana was this, that 6 months down the line, the Queen's gone. Let's hope Prince Charles has taken your advice that she, sure enough, did deliver in the Panorama interview. That I don't think Charles is cut out for her. I don't think he'd make a good king. So if Prince Charles takes that advice, 6 months down the line, what's the scenario? Well, the scenario is young Prince William is the new king. You're the mother of the new king, and that is a very, very a much rosier position for you to be in than the one that I, as Martin Bashir, have just revealed to you, which is you're a potential murder victim. Prince Charles wants to marry the nanny, this lady Tiggy Leg Burke, etc., etc. And that's what she was doing. That's why she gave the Panorama interview.
Of course, yeah.